I don't know who needs to hear this, but feeling your negative emotions is more positive than thinking positively while pushing away the negative emotions. I'll say that again. Feeling your negative emotions in their totality is literally more positive for you and for everybody than to push away the negative emotions and put on a facade of positivity, of a smile and thinking positive and saying positive things and saying, I'm fine, everything is okay, it'll all turn out all right. Meanwhile, you feel horrible inside. Now, this is something I'm actively still learning and integrating into my life, the courage and the willingness and the strength to feel the negativity when it's present in my life. Rather than putting on the smile and pushing away the negativity and acting like everything is peachy and awesome, being willing to say, yes, I don't feel okay right now. I'm upset. I'm despairing. I'm angry. I'm depressed. I'm anxious. Whatever the negative emotion is, being willing to feel it in its fullness and in its totality. It's so much more positive to do this than to push it away and act like I got it all together. Because see, here's the thing. When you pretend you're fine when you're not, you're calling yourself dumb. You're calling your body and your mind dumb and unintelligent. You're saying, I shouldn't be feeling this. So here, me, the mind, am going to act like I'm okay, and I'm going to act how I should be feeling. And the way you describe how you should be feeling is what you expect of yourself and what others may be expecting of you and what you think the ideal way to perform in that given circumstance would be. Because God forbid you be upset. God forbid you feel not okay about something. And it can't possibly be that your anxiety and depression and frustration and disillusionment and agony and grief isn't functional. It can't be that it's there for a reason, trying to serve some sort of deeper purpose, most likely that in line with growing you and awakening you. No, that can't be true. These negative emotions must be inherently wrong. So what I need to do is deny them, suppress them, avoid them, reject them, and pretend that they're not there altogether. Because that must be the most intelligent, wise, ideal thing to do. But as you can tell by my tone, that's the worst thing you can do. And that's what leads you further and further down the road of disillusionment from yourself. Not even knowing why you feel negative. The more you deny how you're feeling, the longer you deny how you're feeling, rather, the more you lose sight of why you even initially were upset. Like, there's been so many times where, there was this one time in particular where I was driving home from work, and I'm feeling fine, and all of a sudden, I'm feeling negative. I was feeling upset about something. And I thought to myself, I was like, dude, I was just fine. Why do I feel like crap right now? Why do I feel sad all of a sudden? And I reverse engineered, I backtracked through my own thinking and realized, oh, I just started ruminating on a past relationship that had broken my heart. This was like a year or 2 years ago or so now. But I realized, oh, the reason I'm upset right now is because I started thinking about a past relationship that hurt me. And see, if I hadn't reverse engineered my own thinking to find the root of why I was upset, I wouldn't have known why I was upset. If I hadn't admitted that I wasn't okay in that moment, I would have never concerned myself with why I was feeling the way I was. And this is what so many of us do, where we lose sight of why we're even upset. When one thing happens, and then we don't have the courage or the willingness to allow it to suck, and so we push it away and we push ourselves through it, and then it makes it worse. It atrophies our heart and mind even more. And then another thing happens, and it begins to distort the way we're even perceiving our life, where the more we push away the pain, the more the pain distorts our perception. And the more distorted our perception is, the more pain we extract from the experience of life. Because see, you can look at a given situation in a myriad of different ways, but the pain-ridden body and mind will often derive more pain from the given circumstances of their life. And what I'm really pointing to here is the importance in letting things suck. Like, let me propose this to you as a question. What if your depression and your anger and your anxiety is serving a purpose? What if it's there to help you? What if it's there for a reason? For me, I've realized that this is almost always the case. Our emotions can't speak to us through our logical, rational mind, which is where we live a majority of the time. Our emotions can't say, hey, this is why I'm upset. Our emotions are just energy in motion. That's what emotion is. It's energy in motion. You feel it. You don't know necessarily why you're feeling it. This is why we often push them away, because when we feel horrible, we push it away. We don't want to investigate why it's there because the sitting with the emotion and the feeling of the emotion is just so hard on us that we would rather push it away and pretend everything is fine because we think out of sight, out of mind. But see, it's up to you, which is the one who lives in their mind thinking, I'm gonna do this, I'm feeling this way, I'm gonna ignore that negative emotion. It's up to you to investigate why you feel the way you do. Where when you feel the way you do, if you catch it in time and you don't deny it for days, weeks, months, decades, you can be with the intensity of the emotion and you can ask yourself, you can inquire, why do I feel this right now? What is this emotion trying to tell me? Rather than running away from it because it doesn't feel good, try asking yourself, what is this emotion trying to inform me of? And oftentimes, a majority of the time, your emotions are practical and functional. They're there for a very realistic reason. Like somebody's parent dies and then 2 months later they're like, why is my life a wreck? Why am I so sad all the time? Bruh, you're grieving. You're grieving. Or somebody, your partner leaves you, your partner of years leaves you, and you wonder why it's hard to get out of bed. Or maybe a little bit more subtle and nuanced, you don't have a direction in your life. You don't have a goal. You don't have something that you're passionate about. And you start to wonder, why do I feel just like I'm floating in outer space? Why do I feel like there's no meaning to life? Because you haven't given one to life. Or you have so much on your plate. You know, you got your bills and your relationship and your job and the kids and trying to fit in time to do what you want to do and so on and so forth, and you have all this anxiety, you're anxious, you're like on the verge of a panic attack, and you're wondering, why am I so anxious? Listen to your body and extrapolate that to your life. Watching YouTube videos on self-help is one thing, but working with someone who can offer you practical and advanced feedback tailored to you personally is a whole other thing. The most progress I've ever made in a particular area in my life was when I had someone working with me personally on that particular thing. So if you resonate with these videos and you have something going on that you think I could help you with, click the link in the pinned comment below to book a completely free discovery call on a date and time of your choice. We'll talk, get to know each other, and we'll see if it would be in both our best interest to work together in my coaching program in the future. I promise you it'll be worth your time. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you there. Your mind and body is kind of like a parent-child relationship, where your body, which is the dimension of feeling, which is the dimension of your heart, can't communicate to you in words, like I was saying a moment ago. So what it does is it just expresses in feeling. Like a child sitting on the ground that's crying, and you wonder to yourself, as the mind, which is like the parent, you think to yourself, why do I feel this way? Meaning, as a parent, you look at your baby that's crying and you have to, as the parent, interpret why your baby's crying. Is there poop in their pants? Do they want a toy? Are they hungry? Are they thirsty? Are they overtired? Why is my baby crying? That same responsibility that you hold as a parent to your child is the very same responsibility you hold to your own self. Now, think of your baby crying and you say, you shouldn't be crying, and you leave the room. Or you put the baby in the basement so that you don't hear the crying. Does that help? No, that's neglect and abuse of the baby crying. It doesn't solve the problem of why the baby is crying. You put it out of sight, so it's out of your mind, so that you're under the illusion that everything is fine. But no, not everything is fine. You're avoiding and denying the problem. That's exactly the same thing when you suppress and repress and deny and avoid how you're feeling so that you can pretend everything is okay. Now see, it's really stressful to sit with a crying baby and try to determine why is the baby crying? And you do everything you can and you can't stop the crying. Now, what that comes down to is if they're not hungry, if they're not tired, it's not that they want a toy, it's not that they poop their pants or whatever it is. If you've done enough troubleshooting and you've determined you can't get the baby to stop crying, well, maybe the baby is crying for a reason that serves a higher purpose than what you may be able to help with right now. Now, that's where it comes down to the emotions are functional. They're not dysfunctional. If you can't find out why you feel the way you do, and you've done everything you can to work with those emotions, you thought, why do I feel this way? What can I do to help? And you've done everything that you can to work with those emotions. And you've been real and honest with yourself and say, I don't feel good. I'm trying to figure out why I don't feel good, and so on. And you just can't seem to get rid of it. Well, then what that comes down to is a relationship between you and God. You and the universe. Of beginning to play with the idea that maybe these emotions, this negativity, is a chapter and not the whole book. Maybe you're experiencing the forefront of a purging. I often think about how when you get sick, a lot of the symptoms of the sickness are not the virus itself, but rather your body killing the virus. So maybe the depression or the anxiety that you just cannot seem to get rid of for the life of you is a purging. Something that you need to, as a strong human being, be willing to be with. Now, yes, it sucks. I'm not sugarcoating that. I'm not painting it in a pretty light. It sucks. It's horrible. But that's what leads us to run away from it. But the running away from it makes it worse. The running away from it makes it even worse on you. The more you run away from it, the more it's just right behind you. I often think of the bison who live in the tundra, where it's just always cold and stuff. And when they sense a storm coming, first of all, they sense it coming because they're so in tune with nature. But also, instead of trying to run away from it, instead of trying to run away from nature, they point into it and they go into it because they know that by going into the storm will pass quicker. And man, if only we could take a lesson in being with our emotions from bison, where we learn to be with how we're feeling. The quicker you're able to be with the immediacy of how you're feeling, the quicker it's allowed to move through you. I had an incredible image come to me months ago now. I actually posted a video on it a while ago. It's called the dirty cup image, the dirty cup analogy. What we are is like a reservoir into which life pours. Life is pouring into you right now. Life is filling you with experiences and relationships and letdowns and excitement and dream and all of it. Life pours into you. You are a reservoir, a cup that holds life. Now, naturally, when you are open, you're like an open cup. You're a cup with no lid. And so life pours into you and it overflows from the cup of you. And that's what you express in the world. Now, inevitably, what comes in life is shitty experiences. Horrible things happen. So you think of that as horrible stuff coming into your life. But see, the more you remain open, the more you allow the horrible stuff to be expressed through you and felt and be present with it, the more it's recycled out of you by the ever-flowing current of life that's always pouring into you from the moment you're born to the moment you die. You're being renewed. You're being recycled. But what a lot of us do is when the negativity comes in, we blame life. And so we block and shield. We put a cap on. We cap ourselves from that flow of life. But see, yes, the flow of life is what brought in the negativity, but the flow of life is also precisely the same thing that cleans the negativity out of you. But now that you've been hurt and you shielded yourself, aka you put a lid on the reservoir, the cup of you, you've locked all that negativity within you. Now it can't go anywhere. Now it's really in there. Now it's really stuck and it's not going anywhere. It takes courage to take that lid off. It takes courage to let the guard down and allow yourself to be with your emotions, to allow yourself to be with the pain, to let new experiences continue to move into you and recycle and cleanse and purge the reservoir of life that you are. The more you stay open, yes, horrible things will happen. There's no getting out of that. But also, by virtue of staying open to life, you allow it to be recycled and removed from your body. I hope that image makes sense. Maybe I'll link the dirty cup experiment video that I posted where I did a visual demonstration, because it's literally like a one-to-one example of exactly what I'm talking about. We need to be willing to be with the negativity, because the negativity is trying to inform us of something. It's trying to talk to you. Your pain, your anguish, your depression, your anxiety, all of it, your jealousy, your insecurity, your feeling of being a failure, of not being good enough, of being inadequate, whatever it is, it's trying to talk to you. And the more you think, I shouldn't feel this feeling should go away, I'm not good enough because I'm feeling negative. That's a big one. That's one that I experience, is when I feel negative, I feel like I'm not doing good enough. Oh, I'm far too spiritual and wise to be feeling negativity, so I ought to push this away. You're just going to make it worse. You're just going to make it worse. And see, our knee-jerk reaction is to think, oh, I got to just think positively. Yeah, there's light at the end of the tunnel. It's going to be okay. That's all right. This is shaping me. This is molding me. You know? Thinking positive. Yes, thinking positive has its place. But when it's in regard to denying the intensity of negative emotions, that's when the positive thinking turns out to be a negative decision. When in reality, the strongest and purest and healthiest thing you could do in that moment is to admit to yourself that you aren't okay. To admit to yourself, I don't feel good right now. I'm not okay. I feel horrible. I'm heartbroken. Write it down if you have to. Write down, I feel like shit right now, and this is why. Let your body speak through you. Speak through your mind. And you'll come to a place, you'll get to this sort of pivotal moment where you're so with the pain that it's almost like invisible in this kind of interesting way, where there's no resistance. There's no fighting. There's no running away from or pushing away. You're with it. And when you're with it, you can stand up and look around and take a breath of fresh air and be like, yeah, it sucks right now. And see, another thing I want to point out is, are you still in that good mood that you were in 2 weeks ago? Is that argument you had with your partner a couple months ago still at the forefront of your consciousness? Probably not. Everything flows. Everything is in movement. Even your own life. Everything is flowing and changing and dissolving. This too shall pass. Now, if you can stay with the presence of your emotions and allow them to be there, you're going to watch them in real time transform. But the more, Carl Jung, the Swiss psychiatrist, stated, what you resist persists. Now, a lot of what this comes down to is your emotions are trying to tell you something, bro. I don't know how to make it any clearer than that. They're talking to you. And the more you try to outsmart them and think that you know better than your own emotions, and you say, no, go away, negativity, inadequacy, go away, depression, you go away, I'm trying to be happy, right? The more you fight it, the more you resist it, the more it comes up like an intrusive thought. The more you try to push away the thought, the more it triggers the expression and the manifestation of that thought. The more you push away your anger, the angrier you get. The more you push away your sadness, the sadder and more depressed you get. The more you try to get rid of your anxiety, the more anxious you get about the presence of your anxiety. Emotions don't work through force and resistance. Emotions work through allowance and surrender. Because, imagine that your emotions are intelligent and they're there for a reason, and you're not broken and messed up because you aren't okay feeling. It's a completely human, natural emotion to feel like you're not okay when the circumstances of your life are completely, ideal for you to feel not okay. Like I was saying about somebody dies and you're like, why am I so upset? Because somebody died, bro. Or you end a relationship and you're wondering why you're heartbroken. Or your pet dies and you say, I'm never getting a pet again, and you wonder, why don't I want to bond with another pet? It's because it hurts. It's a natural response. I remember a few months ago, it was like this 4-day period where I had basically unbearable anxiety. Just absolutely out of this world anxiety. And guess what? I didn't know why it was there. I was blaming my relationship. I was blaming my job. I was blaming myself. I was blaming everything I could to find out, why do I feel so anxious right now? I felt like I was on the verge of a panic attack every single day for 4 days. And then I was at work and I was so anxious. This was day 4. And I just gave up. I said, I'm done fighting. I'm done trying to put a reason to why I'm anxious. I let go. I give in to this anxiety. And literally, in the blink of an eye, the anxiety gave way into grief. And I realized, the reason I'm so anxious is because my life has been incredibly crazy for months now. Where my grandfather had died, and I moved out and I'm living on my own for the first time. And I'm in a beautiful relationship that requires me to show up. And I'm dedicated to YouTube, and I still have a job. All these things had been going on, and what they had resulted in was a worked up, overstressed nervous system. It was firing constantly. It was so on edge. It was so stressed out, and I hadn't given myself the time to be with how much in my life had changed. And man, I when I realized, the reason I'm anxious is because my life is crazy right now, I started bawling my eyes out. and I took the rest of the day off from work, and I went and hung out with my mom, and then I went home, and I just, I was present with the incredible change that had been taking place in my life. And I realized that that past 4 days where I'd been trying to think positive to get away from the anxiety was making it worse, and it was burying me more and more. It was miring me more and more and more and more in the negativity until I just allowed myself to feel it. And funny enough, the moment I allowed myself to feel it, the emotions transmuted immediately into another form. And that's what your emotions are trying to do too. Where when you allow them in totality to be what they are, not only will you learn why they're there, but you'll allow them to move through you. Thank you so much for watching this video.